Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on when you view this video. Here's some good news. The College Writing Center has added an English writing skills tutor specifically for online classes. Throughout the semester, if you have trouble with MLA citations or with grammar or organizational problems that you can't seem to resolve, you may email him for help. Here's how to contact the tutor, Mr. Bill McCain. Let's see if I can get that to show. Okay. There we go. Bill McCain, WMCCANNJR0001 at kctcs.edu is his email address, and that starts the process. I also can help by sending Mr. McCain information about where I think you're having some extra trouble. By now, you should have completed the first reading assignment and much of the work on Essay 1, the essay in the form of an evaluation argument. The purpose of this video lecture is to stress the value of completing all of your reading assignments in a timely manner. The information found in the assigned readings will help you prepare the writing assignments. For example, Chapter 10 of Good Reasons provides a very clear set of directions for writing an evaluation. In fact, the how-to blocks on pages 174 and 5 essentially give the student an outline to fill in. You can go from there. Remember, this class is about learning the easiest ways to fulfill writing assignments and earn good grades on them. Have you ever heard the instructor of an on-campus class announce, "I will not read from the textbook. I will leave that to you. I expect you to read and learn the material and the assigned materials in your textbooks." Well, I'd like to double that expectation for my online students. Remember, we'll never be face-to-face in a classroom. You need to be able to pick up and read your textbooks because I will not repeat exactly what you find there. From time to time, however, I will try and reinforce the important parts of the text. For example, in order to carry your readers along as you develop an evaluation argument, you should capture your readers' interest with a good introduction, express your theory or claim in a one-sentence thesis. Now remember, that can't be posed in the form of a question. It's got to be a declarative sentence. And the tip in the textbook is to start the sentence, "I think that." Fill in the rest of the sentence and then blank out the "I think that." What you have remaining is a good thesis. Help your readers figure out what criteria you will examine in order to form an evaluation on the subject. Put that up very close in the paper to your thesis. Don't go without giving your readers that hint and tip of what's to come. Then you develop your thesis or claim in the body of your essay by examining each of the criteria you've announced that you're going to use. You complete your essay with a strong conclusion. Now remember to announce what your stance is now that you've examined the criteria. Right. Now that I've had a chance to read most of the writing samples, I can tell that some students need more practice in writing a college-level essay. You'll get that kind of practice in this class because every paper, except for that first writing sample, will go through the revision process. Your classmates will peer review your work. They'll go through and give you some tips on where the weak parts are, and I'll go through your rough draft and give you tips on what needs fixing. I've posted a short lecture on how to do a TAPS analysis, and I wanted to remind you about it. The West Point cadet who invented TAPS used it to make sure that he completed all parts of a writing assignment. His roommates discovered that they could take a completed TAPS analysis sheet and turn it into an outline simply by adding the word introduction at the top of the sheet and conclusion at the bottom, and then filling in a few details of what they were going to put in their conclusion. I have told you I won't read from the textbooks, but I did want to read this to you from a book called The Thinking Student's Guide to College by Andrew L. Roberts. In it, Roberts lists 75 tips for getting a better education. This is tip 50. Learn the rules of critical thinking and apply them consistently. Most every professor at your university wants to teach you how to think critically and analytically. They're often at a loss. They're often less explicit or less clear about what it means to do this. Sometimes they want you to discover how to do it for yourself, but there are in fact some rules of critical and analytic thinking that can be taught. I won't summarize all of them here. Some are attitudes, not rules, according to Roberts. But he does give an idea of what your professors have in mind when they ask you to develop your analytic skills. If you look at our syllabus, you'll find that that's one of the goals in this class, to develop analytic, critical reading and writing skills. Most freshmen show up at college with a view of thinking that could be called ignorant certainty. They believe that all questions have definite answers. When asked a question, they simply believe they need to find an authoritative source to give them the answer. This is why so many high school students rely on the encyclopedia. The first step college students need to take is to realize that there are rarely absolute right answers to important questions. Good professors will frequently confront students with questions that don't have clear answers, and they'll force those students to struggle with them in the form of writing an essay, term paper, or research report. According to Roberts, the first thing professors try and teach undergraduates is the critical sense that Karl Marx once called the ruthless criticism of everything existing. Another way to say that is question everything. Many students stop at this stage, which is only halfway to their goal. They become convinced that there's really no truth, no entirely correct answer. Therefore, all arguments are equal. And that's when they begin putting down whatever on their papers. Note that I do not believe that all arguments are equal. In fact, as Roberts points out, some arguments are better than others. Roberts defines an argument as a relationship between cause and effect. It explains why something happens or is the way it is. A better argument is one that's consistent and more commonly contains commonly accepted facts about the world. It explains more facets of a phenomena and does not introduce needless complexities. If an argument possesses these qualities, we call it a good or a strong one. Even though strong arguments are rarely the final word, they're just provisionally better than the alternatives. The skill of critical thinking is learning how to determine which arguments are better than others. Professors ultimately want you to create your own good arguments, but it's often easier to start with existing arguments and find out how they work or do not work. According to Roberts, most of the assignments in college start with the premise. He claims, whenever you are asked to agree or disagree with an author's position or to compare and contrast the positions of two authors, you are taking apart an argument or a multiple argument. The last half of Good Reasons includes many good essays, and some of the authors have opposing viewpoints to others. That's why when I assign readings, it'll probably be in pairs of essays. I want you to keep those things in mind. I plan to post a new assignment online this evening. I'm encouraged by what I see in your first evaluation essays. I think you all, by and large, have the idea. It's apparently been a long time since some of you have done MLA citations. Remember, there is an entire chapter in Hacker's Rules for Writers that you need to use as a resource. Just as you don't sit down and read a dictionary from the letter A through the letter Z with all entries in between, in that chapter on the MLA style, I do want you to read the first few pages. I think it's 410 to 433. That outlines how to go about doing an MLA in-text citation and then parallel it with the full citation back on the works cited page. Once you get past that, I do want you to skim through the chapters so you can see the variety of entries that show special cases or conditions that change the way an entry would be styled. If you got a post-it note, please mark pages 450 and 451. That's probably the best part of that chapter, and it contains the author's list of the items that go into a full citation from in a short work from a longer website. Now remember, I want you to write in pencil after the list that the author provides a last item that I want you to add, and that's the URL for the exact place you found the citation. I think I've mentioned before and used the Red Cross website as an example of an absolutely enormous website. And on the tornado essays, some of you used material from the Red Cross, but you only listed it as www.redcross.org. I mean, I could not find or trace back the citation that way. The URL I'd be interested in finding is the one that has all those slashes and the little short words and the underlines and the hyphens and all the things, and ends with HTML, that shows the exact page where you picked up the information. I think for most of you it was information on putting together an emergency kit. Keep those ideas in mind. I'm going to post a new assignment this evening. Have a good week. And I think most of you are doing rather well. Thank you.